Hello and welcome to Crickpedia. And today we are going to talk about a rather unusual series, a rather unusual setup in this series. And why am I saying this is something you'll come to know in a few minutes. The Indian team is touring Sri Lanka, and India are playing Sri Lanka for the umpteenth time in the last few years, or more than a few years. Since 1983, these two teams have met each other every year in a series. Maybe a bilateral series, maybe a tri-series, maybe anything, but they have met each other in some sort of a series. Why is the series unusual? For the first time, there is a country sending two international cricketing teams outside to play series against two different teams. You have a senior men's Indian cricket team playing in England, preparing for the English Test series, preparing themselves over there in whites. Just play the World Test Championship final. They're completely organized themselves over there. Then you have another senior men's team because all these players are professional Indian players who are going to go. All of them are going to play against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. So there are two teams playing different formats. And that just shows the depth of the Indian setup. There's so many cricketers who are deserving to be in that Indian side, and that's why you need to send two teams. And this is almost a revolutionary way of looking at cricket, and you may see this happen a lot more in Indian cricket because there are so many players to choose from. This is why it is an unusual series. Now, why am I calling it an unusual setup in this series? Because honestly, if you look at the squad that's been given, you won't say this is a series. It's almost like a camp. It's almost like a training camp or a summer camp or something like that. Why? Because you see a few experienced players who've played a lot of cricket coming back from injuries, coming back trying to revamp their own setup. They're trying to, revolutionize their own cricket. They're trying to change themselves, trying to come into form. This series, they're using it for that, the experienced players. Then you have a bunch of youngsters to choose from, all of them coming from the IPL. It's almost like a camp. And who is their coach? It's the evergreen, ever brilliant Rahul Dravid, the under 19 coach of India. Well, Ravi Shastri is there with our team in England, so that's why they have asked Rahul Dravid to coach this side, and he's agreed to do it. So basically, all these young players and all those players who are trying to come back from injuries, all those experienced players, they have the perfect role model and the perfect coach in Rahul Dravid, and they can easily make comebacks, can easily make debuts, can inspire generations just because of this. What's the squad that we have? Let's look at the experienced players first. You have Shikhar Dhawan in the batting front. Super duper experience. I mean, every time you feel Shikhar Dhawan, this is his last match. If he doesn't perform, he's going to get out of this Indian team. He comes up with 100. He comes up with 80 or 40 balls. He comes up with unbelievable scores and always secures his place. This is a series where they're going to play 3 T20s and then 3 ODIs. So that's why Shikhar Dhawan needs to be absolutely in form. In the all-rounders, you have the Pandya brothers, you have Hardik and Krunal, both coming off laid-back seasons, not really performing that much, not consistent in their Indian side. So this is a revolutionary series for both of them as well, because both of them want to play the T20 World Cup. A T20 World Cup, a World Cup in any format is something everybody wants to play. Now bowlers, you have two spinners, the Chahal and Kuldeep combination. Both of them are back again over here. You won't have Jadeja because he's in England, so probably you can see both of them play together after many years. One guy, a traditional leg spinner, the other guy, a Chinaman bowler. This is something you can see in this series. Then you have two fast bowlers. You have Bhuvneshwar Kumar. What a performer he has been. He came back from injury against the Englishmen in the ODI and the T20 series played earlier this year. And he played really well. He was one of the finest players in the entire series. Also won a few awards over there. And when he wants to continue his comeback journey, be consistent so that he can properly be India's prime bowler in this T20 World Cup. With him, not so experienced, but certainly somebody who has been with the Indian T20 setup from a long time, Deepak Chahar. Best figure of 6 for 7 that year we remember against Bangladesh. He was phenomenal. And that's why I feel both those fast bowlers again will try to be honest, if you see something common between Dhawan, Pandya brothers, Chahal, Kuldeep, and Deepak Chahar and Bhuvneshwar Kumar, all these players, is that they all want to make a mark, be consistent, and confirm their spot because there is a lot of competition. There are many good players, and it's always healthy for a cricketing side if there's competition because then everybody wants to perform a little better than the other. Now, the youngsters. Now, this youngsters thing, what's unusual is I've selected these 11 players from the squad that I want to really look at, apart from the experienced guys. We just spoke about them, but then there are 11 more players that I want to really look at with the magnifying glass of how they perform in this entire series because it's going to be unbelievable. It's almost as if the Indian selecting committee has picked an IPL team, an all-time IPL team, or a youngster IPL team, in fact, not an all-time one, but a youngster IPL team from the previous few years. From the Chennai Super Kings, you have Ruturaj Gaikwad. From the Delhi Capitals, you have Prithvi Shaw. From the Punjab Kings, well, he's now in the Chennai Super Kings, but he played for the Punjab Kings, you have Krishna Gautam. Then, from the Kolkata Knight Riders, you have Varun Chakravarti, you have Nitish Rana. From the Mumbai Indians, you have Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan. Then, from the Rajasthan Royals, you have Sanju Samson and Chetan Sakaria. From the Royal Challengers Bangalore, you have Devdutt Padikkal. And then, from the Sunrisers Hyderabad, you have Manish Pandey. From every franchise, you have some or the other kind of input in this Indian squad for the Sri Lanka series. All these players, I would want to look at each one of them. All of them. You have already, in the names I just took, the 11 names, you have wicket keepers, you have opening batsmen, you have middle order batsmen, you have fast bowlers, you have spinners, you have all-rounders, you have all kinds of variety, and that's why the IPL is so profitable. This series also shows that IPL benefits players a lot. It gives them confidence. These players have come from the IPL. They've made their name in the IPL, also in the Ranji circuit, but primarily in the IPL, because that's what everybody looks at. They've made their name there, and all of a sudden they get India call-ups. That's how important the IPL has been. Its tagline anyway says, where opportunity meets talent, is as appropriate as anything, because it's almost an emotion, the IPL. Everybody follows it. So you see these young players, you pick them. And these 11 players that I'm going to look at, all have been picked from the IPL, and it's going to be a series of a different world for all of them. Now, let's make a certain 11 from these youngsters, this entire IPL squad that you have, and from the experienced men. Can they fit into a certain 11? Rahul Dravid is the coach of this side, and he has clearly said that everybody may not get a chance. So, in the 3 ODIs or the 3 T20s, let's see what can be the first 11 that India goes with. You have your captain, Shikhar Dhawan. Short opener, there's no doubt he's going to take one spot. With him, you have 3 other openers who can compete for that second spot. You have Prithvi Shaw, you have Ruturaj Gaikwad, and then you have Devdutt Padikkal. All 3 brilliant youngsters. People say they may be the future 1, 2, 3 for India when you go after Rohit, Virat and Shikhar retire. With Shikhar Dhawan, I feel India is going to start with Prithvi Shaw because he's had a run. They may start with a more experienced side, at least players who have played a little bit of cricket for India, and then they may try a few changes once it's secure that India is going to win a series and something like that. They may try a few changes later in the series. They will start with an experienced squad. So that's why Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw. Number 3, somebody who was brilliant in the English T20 series, it's Surya Kumar Yadav. This spot is just made for him, and I feel Surya Kumar Yadav deserves that number 3 spot. Number 4, another Mumbai Indians player, Ishan Kishan. Now, you had a choice between Sanju Samson and Ishan Kishan for that number 4 spot, both wicket keepers. But I feel they'll go with Ishan Kishan because he's been more consistent, and he also played in that England series, in the T20 series, scored a 50 in his first match. He was flamboyant, and the kind of hitting he does, I think Surya and Ishan at 3 and 4 are perfect. 5, you again have 2 options. You can go with either Manish Pandey or you can go with Nitish Rana. So I feel to start off again with the more experienced player, Manish Pandey, and then maybe Nitish Rana finds his way in the second match or the third match of the series, maybe ODI or T20s. We start with Manish Pandey. Now 6 and 7, I feel it's all for the Pandya brothers. You have Krishna Gautam as one more all-rounder. You have a lot of options, but I feel to start off with, both the Pandya brothers take 6 and 7. That gives you 2 bowling options already. Then 8, 9, 10, 11, you obviously go with 4 bowlers. So the 2 spinners in Kuldeep and Chahal, there's Varun Chakravarti, there are a few options. They may come in later. As Kuldeep and Chahal at 8 and 9, and then 10 and 11, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Deepak Chahar. So that makes an experienced first 11, and then you can always have an alternative 11. It's clear that Rahul Dravid has said that he may not be looking to give everybody a chance in this side, but certainly he will try to do everything that's in the best interest of all players who are present in the squad. This is going to be an exciting squad because for the first time you'll see young blood, you'll see people coming back from injuries, you'll see stiff bodies, all of them trying to prove themselves play. When is it going to happen? It was to happen on the 13th of July, but a few Sri Lankan players got the unfortunate COVID-19. So it's going to start, as of now it's said that it's going to start on the 18th of July. We hope it starts on the 18th of July. It can be postponed, but As of now, it's 18th of July. Stay tuned and see a young Indian side, or should I say an IPL side, a side of rejuvenated players, a side of many surprises take on the Sri Lankans at their own home ground. Enjoy this cricketing fun. Do like, share and comment. And do subscribe the channel and press the notification bell for my further videos.